So hello, my name is Iuliia Mendel and I'm here in the Kyiv Post studio. We're gonna talk today to Whitney Shefte, the Washington Post video journalist who has recently been to Donbass. So Whitney, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Whitney, I know that you've been to Donbass before escalation, but you've been here in Ukraine around a month and probably feel all this information pressure and follow the news and meet people and see what's going on the ground. You've been to Donbass, to Kharkiv, to Chernobyl zone. You have already the flavor and the taste of what's going on here. And within this information, my first question, being an American journalist here in Ukraine is such difficult time. What do you think about the second speech of your president, Joe Biden, about the possible invasion of Ukraine?
Yeah, I think that we are hearing a lot of escalated language, a lot of rhetoric from our president. A lot of the stories that we're seeing in Western media are certainly pointing to imminent attack. Biden did just say that it seems like it will happen, which sounds very definitive. Being here, it does feel a little bit different. I think before I came here, I didn't really know what to expect. That Ukraine has been at war for 8 years, and it's something that it's been important to recognize that has happened, that there's been a great toll with these, nearly 14,000 people who have been killed in this conflict. So the fact that these sacrifices have been ongoing, I think is very noteworthy, and hopefully this stays peaceful, but that the American public and the rest of the world is able to recognize the toll that this has taken on this country in this time. And the mood here was much different than I expected. People were very calm and collected and didn't seem very concerned about war. I think that as I've talked to more people over the course of several weeks, that's changed a little bit. I've seen more and more people get concerned, but not in the way that I think Americans would expect.
So is that fear but not despair?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good way to describe it. I think that the people here seem very resilient and hopeful in spite of what could be imminent attack. It's hard for me to know whether the intelligence that the U.S. has is accurate, of course, but we also have no reason to believe that they would be lying to us.
Sure, but you are an American here, in the center of the country that can be invaded, and you get all this information and all these concerns and all these recommendations to leave the country, but you are here for your work, right? And you're doing your job very well, as I've seen. So do you worry personally for yourself? Does your family worry for you?
Well, my family certainly worries for me. I think since day one that I've arrived here, I've heard people calling saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And going to the east and embedding with the military there for a day, it was peaceful where I was. We didn't see any sort of shelling or anything like that. That was a week ago that we got back about. So I know that things have changed a little bit, and we have colleagues who are in the east now who are seeing shelling. And so when I, see the videos from there and the reports of that certainly is a little bit scary. But, as journalists, this is our job to go into these situations. I spend a lot of time going into hurricanes and wildfires and all kinds of natural disasters. So in some ways, this is no different. We go towards whatever is happening despite the risks so that we can show the world what's going on.
Mm-hmm. So natural risks are somehow non-predictive. What about Russian risk? When you've been there to Donbass on the ground, you talked to our soldiers, you saw the conditions they live, you saw that the war is there already, right? Despite that you probably have not seen, wounds and shelling and, killed people, but you saw a lot of things. What is your biggest impression from Donbass?
Yeah, Donbass, these soldiers they're really tough and passionate about what they're doing, about protecting Ukraine. I think in some ways when they're in positions where not much is happening, it can be even harder because there's a lot of idle time where you're just anticipating what's next. But now I think that they are starting to see some action, and that's always really tough when, we saw the reports that one military service member was killed. Whenever you lose somebody, that is gut-wrenching. But these folks definitely have a very resilient spirit, and to say that they're prepared to fight whatever may come.
Just for you to know that since 2014, there almost was no any period when there was no shelling. But in average, we were getting like 1, 2, 3 shellings per day. So since the escalation started, there has been over 60 escalations violations per day, and mostly it's about shellings, and so we've got wounded people and killed people there. So you were lucky to come in calmer period. You are here, you're living in some time, maybe a week or two, right? When you come back home, what will you tell Americans about Ukraine?
You know, I will certainly tell Americans that Ukraine is beautiful, and that I hope it stays peaceful so that they can all come and visit, because, you know, it's a place that I think a lot of Americans don't visit for some reason or another, but I've absolutely been stunned by it. I think it's such a beautiful place, beautiful people, everybody is so generous and kind, so I hope to be able to tell people that.
Okay, thank you so much for this short but very thoughtful interview, and for your experience for covering Ukraine every day for the world. So we were talking to Whitney Shefte, the Washington Post video journalist who has been to Donbass and to Kharkiv and Chernobyl, covering Ukraine for the world. Thank you.